Hello, my name is Xinju Wu. This video gives a brief introduction to our work, which was accepted to TCSVT special issue on point cloud processing and compression in 2021. The title is Subjective Quality Database and Objective Study of Compressed Point Clouds with SIAT-PCQD head-mounted display. This work is supervised by Professor Yun Zhang. In the following, I will introduce our work from these two parts. First, I will briefly introduce the background of point cloud and quality assessment. A point cloud is a set of 3D points in space. Each point consists of a geometry attribute, etc. 3D position, and other attributes like color, reflectance, opacity, and so on. Those 3D points neither have inherent natural ordering or connected lines between them. Point clouds have been widely used in applications like sports broadcasting, virtual reality, and autonomous driving. Among them, virtual reality, namely VR, has gained much attention with the emergence of head-mounted display. In such scenario, degree of freedom refers to the head movement in space. 3D DoF means it allows only to check users' rotation movement, while 6 DoF denotes not only rotation but also translational movement. When point clouds are encoded and transmitted, several kinds of distortions might be introduced. And the goal of point cloud quality assessment is to measure the loss of visual information. Quality assessment can be divided into two parts, subjective and objective. In subjective quality assessment, the visual feedback from human observers are collected, but this way is expensive in time and cost. And for the other part, objective quality assessment aims to build effective models to simulate the human vision. Our work also contains these two modules, subjective and objective. First, we conducted a subjective experiment based on the 6 DoF VR environment and built a database which consists of 17 distorted levels with different pairs of geometry and texture QPs. Second, we proposed two projection-based objective evaluation methods. One extended the view projection-based method by adding weight, and the other used patch projection in quality assessment and solved the patch inconsistency problem. In subjective experiment, we found most works display point clouds in 2D monitor, but as we mentioned before, point cloud has 3D characteristics, and it is inherently capable to be displayed in a 6 DoF viewing condition. Unlike some works as listed here, we aim to build a subjective database on 6 DoF VR environment with diverse distorted levels. So we first selected 10 human sequence and 10 object sequence for content diversity. Then in the pre-processing part, we have some operations like downsampling, rotation, translation, rescaling, and so on, to make all point clouds display in a similar size in the later rendering module. Distorted versions were then generated using the MPEG VPCC codec with 17 distorted levels. Our experiments used the DSIS methodology and displayed the reference and the distorted point clouds side by side. In addition, the hidden reference for each sequence was added. More discussion about the methodology can be referred to our paper. And in the experiment, subjects can walk freely and give 5-scale scores by dragging the handle. We adopted the settings of virtual environments as shown in the figures with red rectangles. For data processing, we first did the outlier removal according to the ITU recommendation BT500, and then we calculated difference opinion scores and normalized them into z-scores. Finally, demo scores are obtained by a linear mapping. To avoid fatigue, our tests were separated into two sections, and the block plot showed the z-score data have stable distributions in both two sections. We also compare the visual quality of different sequences under QP pairs defined in the CTC from MPEG PCC it can be noted that there is slight visual quality degradation from 20 and 27 pair to 24 and 32 pair. Also, observers are sensitive to the compression distortion when QP pairs arise from 28 and 37 pair to 36 and 47 pair. The right figure shows varying geometry and texture QPs against subjective scores. It can be seen that the slopes in the first subfigure are higher than slopes in the second subfigure. Based on our subjective PCQA database, we evaluated the performance of popular point-based subjective methods used by MPEG, and it can be found in the table that objective scores show a low correlation with subjective scores. It is because these metrics are error-based models, and they did not consider human vision system or texture distortion. Therefore, we desire to predict the visual quality of point clouds by mimicking how people perceive the world, that is, projection. The traditional projection-based method projects a point cloud onto 6 planes of the bounding box, viewing each plane in equal row. However, it can be seen that we tend to pay attention to the front view of human and the top view of grass. So in the first model, we define a weight for each plane calculated by the area ratio, as the larger region may have a bigger chance to capture subjects' visual attention. Furthermore, to avoid the self-occlusion problem brought by view projection, it is better to segment a point cloud into smaller parts and then project them onto planes. As shown here, the number 7 in the cube is included in view projection but excluded in patch projection. As for the projection from 3D to 2D for a point cloud, patches can first be obtained by clustering the 3D point according to the direction of normal vectors. Then all patches are inserted into 2 blanket images in the packing process to create 1 geometry image and 1 texture image. The framework shows the proposed patch projection-based PCQA method, and it is composed of 2 parts. In the patch projection part, the reference and the distorted point clouds were converted into 2 geometry image and 2 texture images, and the main contribution is the point matching module. In the quality prediction part, the visual quality of geometry and texture images are then computed to denote the final vision quality of the distorted point cloud. In patch generation, there are significant mismatches between images generated from the reference and the distorted point cloud, as shown in the figures in the first and the second column. To handle this problem, we first found the 2 nearest points in the reference and the distorted point cloud, and then determined the location of the distorted point according to the positions of the reference point during the distorted patch generation, as shown in the third column here. In the end, we used the first and the third column to do the quality prediction. In the experiment for the 2 proposed models, we tested the proposed database and another database vSense. The benchmark is the traditional view projection-based methods, and in quality prediction, we utilized 11 IQA methods to compute the quality of projected images. Also, 4 correlation coefficients are used to evaluate the performance of PCQA metrics. Here, the table shows the performance of 2 proposed models on our database. As shown in the red rectangle, the first model is able to achieve an increase of around 14% in PLCC on average, which proves it is more efficient compared to the benchmark. And the second model improves around 109% in PLCC on average and achieves the best when using IWSIM, whose PLCC is 0.81 and SROCC is 0.69. To further validate the effectiveness of our model, we have tested another point cloud database, and similar results show that the proposed patch projection-based PCQA methods is significantly better than the view projection-based scheme. For the conclusion, in this paper, we first established a subjective point cloud quality assessment database in an immersive 6DoF VR environment. Then we propose a weighted view projection-based model and a patch projection-based model. The patch projection-based model achieves an increase of 0.34 in PLCC and 0.23 in SLCC on average compared to the benchmark. The subjective database has been released in IEEE Dataport and our website. Thank you.